Good evening, or good morning, or whenever it is you're listening to the show. In today's maths lesson, we're going to be discussing multiplication. We're also going to be having a look at multiplying decimals as well. You'll be amazed at how easy it is. We're going to start off, as always, by doing a simple multiplication. Mastering multiplication. By the end of this video, you'll be doing it in your sleep. But always remember to practice, okay? It's all very well watching this video and seeing how it's done, and then this time next week you've forgotten all about the video. So practice yourself, because just like the Green Cross Code Man, I won't be there when you're asked to do a multiplication. Okay, let's just try and stay in line. Okay, with this multiplication we only need one line, because we're multiplying by units. Now, when somebody asks you to multiply something, you always put the highest number at the top and the lowest number at the bottom. But 49 times 9 is exactly the same, as 9 times 49. However, we always put the lowest number at the bottom. So we're starting off by going 9 times 9. Well, we know that 10 times 9 has to be 90, because all you have to do is put a 0 at the end, don't you? So take 9 away from 90 and you're left with 81. 81. Now what you're doing here is, just like with addition, you're carrying the 8, okay? You're carrying the 8. So 9 times 9 is 81. What is 9 times 4? I always pick 9 because I always get confused with 9s. Well, I know it's 36, okay? Because I know that 3 9s are 27. 27 plus 9 has to be 36. So then we say 36. Aha, but we've got an 8 carried here. So 36, and we add the 8. That gives us 44. So 9 times 49 is 441. It was quite an easy one, that, actually, because we know that 10 times 49 would have been 490. So then it's just a case of taking one of the 49s away from 490 and being left with 441. However, we're not trying to confuse you here. Always do it in the simplest form. That way you don't make a mistake. That is how it's done. Multiplication, you can get the same answer with addition as well. It's just a case of adding 4 49s together. But that is a bit of a faff, a bit of a carry on that. I mean, imagine if the sum is 185 times 9,862. Imagine writing all them down and adding them up. It would be a ridiculous way of doing it. So multiplication is the easy way. Right, okay, now we're going to go on to the second example. This time I'm going to use 2 digits, okay? Two digits to multiply by, right? Our old friend the 9 there. Now, in this instance, we've got units and tens. We're multiplying by units and tens. Line number 1 is to get your units answer. Line number 2 is to get your answer when you're multiplying the tens. Line number 3, bit of a squiggly line that one, apologies, is the total. And the total is the units and the tens added together gives you the total. So let's go through it, shall we? 4 times 7. Again, you know that 3 times 7 is 21. So 4 times 7 must be 28. So remember, we're carrying the 2. Okay? Carrying the 2. So 4 times 9 is 36. 36 plus the 2 is 38. And we're carrying the 3. 4 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24, so it must be 32. 32 plus 3 is 35. So we know that 4 times 897 is 3,588. Now the next step is to get the total of the tens. So the first thing you do is you add a 0 in there, okay? If you forget to add the 0 in there, you'll get the wrong answer. 6 times 7. I know that 5 times 7 is 35, so 6 times 7 must be 42. Again, we're carrying the 4. Okay, very important. 6 times 9. Okay, there's a tricky one for you. What on the earth is 6 times 9? It's 54. 54 plus the 4 is 58. 8 goes in there, and we're carrying the 5. Okay? 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 plus 5 is 53. Okay? So here it is actually 60. 60 times 897 is 53,820. So now it's a case of adding them up. You're adding your units and your tens. Simple case of addition. 2 plus the 8 gives you your 10, and again we're carrying 1 over, aren't we? 8 plus your 5 is 13, plus your 1 that we carried over is 14. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus your 1 is 7. Now there's nothing being carried over there, so that 5 just comes down to the bottom. And that gives you your answer. 64 times 897 is 57,408. Now, okay, we'll give you another example. Bear with me here. Okay, we're just going to make it a little bit harder for ourselves. I'm just picking these numbers out at random here, by the way. Quite a tricky one is 862 times 1,743. Calculator, nice and easy, but how on the earth is it done if you have no calculator handy? Now you may think I've gone totally mad here of all these lines I'm drawing underneath, but I haven't. That there is for your units, that there is for your tens, that there is for your hundreds. Then it's a case of adding up these three lines here, and that there gives you your total. So units, tens, hundreds, and we'll call that TO for total. Let's do the multiplication. You can do it with me if you like. 2 times 3, 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 7 is 14, so we're carrying the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1 is 3. Okay, 3,486. That is what 2 times 1,743 is. Next step, putting in a 0. In fact, we can put these zeros in just now if you like. Okay, as that's hundreds, it gets 2 zeros. As that is tens, that gets 1 0. So here we go. We're on to the second column now. 6 times 3 is 18. We're carrying a 1. 6 times 4 is 24 plus that 1 we carried. Okay, 25. 6 times 7 is 42 plus the 2 is 44, so we're carrying a 4. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6 plus the 4 is 10. Okay, so we know that 60 times 1,743 is 104,580. Now we're on to the hundreds. So we've already put the 2 zeros in here. 8 times 3, 3 times 8 is 24. And we're carrying the 2, aren't we? Okay. Right. 8 times 4. 8 times 4, 3 eighths. 3 eighths are, so that's going to be 32, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just working it out in my head. So 32 plus the 2 is 4, isn't it? Just try and keep them in line there. Sort of strayed a little bit there. So it's always best to try and keep them in line, otherwise you can get a bit mixed up. Right, now. So that was going to be 32, wasn't it? So we forgot to carry, I forgot to carry the 3 there. Right, so next step is, what is 8 times 7? Right, well, 7 times 7 is 49, so it must be 56, plus that 3 there, plus that 3 is 59, so we're carrying the 5, okay, we're carrying the 5. And what is 8 times 1? It's 8. What's 8 plus the 5 is 13. Now, this is where it is important to make sure that they're all in line there. And la 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 la, yes they are. Okay, they are. Good. So, 6. 8 plus 0 plus 8 plus 8 is 16. So again, we're carrying the 1. Carrying the 1 there. So 1 plus 4 is 5. 5, 10, 14. And we're carrying the 1. 5, 9, 12. And we're carrying the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 0 is still 10. We're carrying the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus that 1 is 5. Okay, and there we have it. 862 times 1,743 is an incredible figure, isn't it? 502,466. I have rewritten it there without the carried over numbers. Okay, now it's very unlikely that you'll be asked to do a multiplication as big as that, but it shows you how it can be done. It's very important also to make sure that your numbers are in rows, so you're not adding wrong numbers up, basically. But there we have it. See, we've done it there. We've managed to work out what is 862 times 1,743. It was 1,502,466. And that is how it looks with the carried over numbers. So that is showing you multiplying by tens and units, of course, and hundreds, and that is the principle. But what about if we wanted to multiply decimals? Okay, let's have a look at this example. It might help if you can see it. Right, what is 4.8 times 80.27? Help. Right, the first thing you do is you forget all about the decimals. Yep, forget all about them. Right, so if you just pretend that these decimals aren't there, we'd be looking at 48 times 8,027. So in that case, we need to have 3 rows, a row for units, a row for tens, and a row for the total. Okay, so we're forgetting the decimal points are even there. Right, what is 8 times 7? It is 56. What is 8 times 2? It's 16, plus the 5 is 21. Okay, what is 8 nothings? Surprise, surprise, it's nothing, but we've got a 2 there. We've got to bring that 2 down. What is 8 times 8? Or is it 64? It is 64, isn't it? I do beg your pardon. It is quite an easy way to do it, but you can make mistakes. 10 times 8 is 80. Then we're taking 8 away, aren't we? So that would bring it down to 72. 72 minus another 8 is 64. So apologies for me making an error there. But these are numbers I'm just making up in random, so you know, I'm leaving myself open to mistakes. I've not done them before, you know, so it shows you can make mistakes. Even me. Ah, you better believe it. So just like before, we're now moving on to tens, so you put in the 0 there. 4 times 7 is 28. Don't forget you're carrying the 2. 4 times 7 is 28. Then you're doing 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus a 2 is 10. 4 times nothing is nothing. 4 times 0 is nothing. 4 times 0 is nothing, but we still had the 1 there, so we bring that down. 4 times 8 is 3 times 8 is 24, is 32. Okay, so that is how that looks. So 40, yes, 40 times, that would be like 40, wouldn't it? 40 times 8,027 is 321,080. Now, just as before, we're adding them up. 6 plus 0 is nothing. 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 plus 6 is 8. And we've got 3 there out in its own. We'll bring that down. So 385,296. Well, that's definitely not right, because we're wanting to know what is 4.8 times 80.27. So now we can add the decimal point. It's just a simple case of doing this. You ask yourself, how many numbers are to the right of the decimal points? Can you tell me? How many numbers are to the right of the decimal points? 1, 2, 3. We know that 0.27, 0.8, that's the 3 numbers. Okay, we've got 3 numbers that are to the right of the decimal point. So we now go down here and we place the decimal smack bang in the middle there. If there had been 4 numbers, we'd be placing it over there, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we now know that 4.8 times 80.27 is 385.296. And that is how you multiply decimals. It's quite simple, really. Well, I hope that was some help, and I'll see you in the next maths lesson. Don't forget, stay tuned for the bloopers. In fact, we could even start from the bottom to stop us getting mixed up. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. And the 3 is then 16. 9 plus the 1 is 10. Plus the 1 is 11. 1 plus the 3 is 4. Plus the 1 is 5. And then there's that 1 over there too.